Like the turning of the seasons 4 times a year in the iRacing universe, hope springs anew. A fresh campaign has back markers aspiring to improve, mid-packers desiring a race to race up front, and front runners dreaming of a coronation. From Sebring, this is the Global Sim Racing Channel's open round coverage of the 2019 Fall Season Kamel GT Vice Classic Racing Championship. And you can see all the simulated retro sport car action from green flag to victory donuts live as it happens right here on GSRC. A Sunshine State, hello and welcome. Way up in the press box to bring you our Words Eye View. Adam Young, joined by yours truly, Bill Soups On. Turning the knobs and pushing the sliders, the Doctor of Pits Topology, Amjad Yaman, armed with cameras, located, aimed, zoomed, and focused by the Ansel Adams of iRacing, Dougie Beard. All right, Adam, it seems a contradiction in terms, but our venue today is both flat and bumpy.
Yeah, that's definitely one thing that Sebring is known for. Of course, what would you expect out of an old World War II to Korean War era airfield? But hey, various sections of the course were repaved in 83, 87, 91, and 99, leaving only a tick under a mile of the original concrete still remaining. But that original concrete, pretty bumpy. But that's Sebring. On the last day of 1950, a 6-hour enduro on a makeshift course marked with hay bales took place, and Sebring International Raceway was born. A classic American circuit and host to the annual 12 Hours of Sebring Endurance Race, this place is now a 3.7-mile road course with 17 official turns. Winners have ranged from Fangio to Foyt to Fittipaldi. To get a feel for what it's really like to get around this cathedral of American motorsports, let's go on board the GSRC car and take a lap.
All right, we've got Clayton McLeod in the GSRC Nissan, so let's do a lap around Sebring. Turn 1 tends to be a good passing spot in most cars, but in the Nissan, this thing is terrifying. You carry a ton of speed through here, but just pray that the bumps don't unsettle the car. Keep on hugging the right side on the short run down to turn 3. There's a late apex here, but make sure not to clip the inside curb. From there, you're right into 4 and 5. Once again, turning in late is the desirable line through 5. But here you've got to try and get the power down quickly. Big Bend and the blast towards the hairpin are flat out the whole way. This will probably be the most popular overtaking spot since it's a long acceleration zone into a very heavy braking zone. Just be careful when surrounded by other cars because it'll be easy to overshoot and plow into someone ahead of you. What's really tricky is trying not to spin the car out as the turbo kicks in. Turns 8 and 9 are simply about lessening your steering input to keep your speed up. And then comes another good place to attempt to pass, Cunningham. But if you find yourself side by side coming off the corner, it can be bad news. Collier is narrow with very little runoff on either side. Then there's the difficult curved braking for Tower. This is another inside curve that I highly advise not mounting. At last, there's a little breather until you have to attack Bishop. Take this as a single arc even though there's 2 apexes. On exit, make sure and stay to the left for the best entry into Jean de Bien. There's paved runoff, but getting to slow down here can really hurt you. And it's critically important to get a good run off of Le Mans anyway. Once you get dumped onto the Ullman Straight, it's a long, long ways until sunset. Even though the draft isn't as effective in the Nissan, getting a bad run might mean finding yourself too wide into the corner, and that is going to be extra scary. Just look at how much speed you take into the kink. Manage the car over the bumps and then smoothly bring the power back in. This brings us back onto the front stretch to start it all over again. Hopefully you kept it all together and have now finished a lap around Sebring.
Joe Peak doing what nobody does better, talking and taking the viewers around a racetrack. This time, it's Sebring. All right, this being the opening round of the season, we have no points up. There we go. There. Now we'll bring our points up there. Don't know if we got all of that. That's Joe Peak taking us around the track. And let's go ahead and look at the points here as we weren't able to show you this season's points. This is the opening round. We'll show you what last season looks like. Fabian Gerber, well, he had 7 wins. Justin Albright had 5. That equals 12, and that's all the wins that were allowed. And you can see the 30 points difference there between the Swedish driver and that would be Switzerland. There we go. Wrong S country. And Justin Albright, the Stars and Stripes. You can see the rest of the drivers down there. Fabian Youngbluth, the German driver. John Keith got himself on there, another American. And then from the Czech Republic, Martin Krajcek. Let's go ahead and look at the GTOs, which was considerably closer. Now, going into the final round, Rob Olenek had 2 wins. Nicholas Bakanos had 1, and the difference was really close. In the final event, Olenek won it, Bakanos finished in second, and that was the difference, the deciding factor of the championship. You can see that the Norwegian Ove Trengrade got into a tie with the Canadian of Reed Millers. They both were 99 points back, tied for third. And then rounding out the overlay, this is interesting. Riley Thompson had a win and 2 seconds and 9, that's right, 9 no-shows. But that was enough for the United States driver to make the top 5. All right, that's how things played out last season. Let's see what the race details are going to be for the first race of this season. Adam?
Yeah, and I'm expecting this season to be just as tight as the last season. The handful of races I got to call were fantastic. And, you know, it's with this type of scoring system, as you see right there on your screen, I mean, it's set up to be exciting, and that's great. Of course, this is the first round, brand new season. They do get 2 drops throughout the season, though. So that's going to be key, especially when we get into those last 3 or 4 races. We are going to go 40 minutes here for today. Setups are open, and they do not have to stop for fuel. I don't think we're going to see tires taken here today. You might see some races later on this season where we see some of those races stops for tires. But at least for fuel, we're good to go all the way, the distance here this afternoon.
I checked the schedule. They do have a few 60-minute races coming up, but this is going to be a shorter one here today. A true sprint race indeed. Qualifying going on right now. And Adam, this is a kind of track where sometimes you don't worry about qualifying. I think I want to be up front if I had my choice here. It's passing can be difficult.
Yeah, passing's always tough here. I mean, it's just historically bad to try to get around people. You have the multi-class factor. When we were here last season for Kamel GT, maybe not last season, season before, one of those, it all blends together. We saw a lot of incidents, particularly between Audis and the Nissans, going through Sunset. So that's going to be a big trouble spot here for today, and a lot of that goes to just how difficult it is to pass. So, of course, the widest portion of the track would be the one where we have the most incidents, but that's how it works out here because it may be wide, but there's really only one real fast lane through there.
Looks like the difference in the lap times between the 2 classes is going to be about 10 seconds. Not sure if that's going to be enough to see lap traffic maybe at the very end. What's your guess, Adam? It's hard to do the math on this one. You think that the Nissan
every time I think that, we end up having lap traffic quite a bit. And the reason is because once those Audis get to racing each other, especially at the start, first couple laps, it's going to be congested. You're not going to see the really high lap times. I wouldn't be surprised if we start seeing lap traffic start playing a role in this. Probably maybe 25 to 30 minutes in. So we'll see it in the last half to quarter of the race.
Really large field here today as we get a field of about 44 cars last time I checked, and it's still growing. We'll try to cover all the action in both classes, get you the action up front and the mid-pack racers as well at both classes. But to be honest with you, if it gets a little bit messy, we might have to miss a few of the spins. Hopefully we'll have a clean race. Sometimes the first race of the season, Adams, takes a little bit for guys to get their wheels under them.
Yeah, and there's a lot of new faces in here this time around. Of course, a field this large, I mean, you'd expect to be. But we also have a lot of the mainstays, the guys that have been running Kamel GT here on GSRC for quite a long time. But you're already seeing some I've seen him out there before. He wasn't consistently here, I don't believe, last season or the season before, but Carl Jansen out there, he's going to be playing a role out there today. Already seen it qualifying. In the Audi field right there on your screen, you can see only a couple of tenths in the grand scheme of things really separate first through fifth. So that's going to be playing a role. But in that first through fifth, you have a lot of your normal players out there too. So it's going to be tight in the mid pack, especially if some of these guys aren't used to racing around one another.
Talking about the Nissans, we were on board for a long time there with Timo Teukla. We ride on now with Fabian Gerber, and he just moves around his rival Justin Albright up into second. Of course, Adam just talked about it. Carl Jansen. Now, I haven't seen him for a long, long time. Good to see him back racing with us, and not surprising, see him at the top of the qualifying for the Nissans. There's Philip Lake, we're on.
And Philip Lake, he's hoping he has himself a big season. Of course, he had himself a really good season going last year up until about halfway through, and then things kind of went south. But guy's fast. And now we got one of the guys, a name that I don't recognize that much. I'm going to guess Tomas Valchik. Just giving a crack at that name. I'm sorry if I butchered it. But sitting in 10th right now on the board, which 10th place today, if you're able to come home in 10th place, that's going to be a good day for you to kind of set up how your season's going to go.
Riding on board now with Remigio Pasquale. Sitting well down the order, qualifying just about done. We have 17 drivers in the Nissans and quite a few more in the Audis. That's the way it should be, the more expensive class, a little bit smaller than the less expensive class. Yanni Hagner, our pole sitter in those Audis.
This place is tough to drive in that Nissan too, which, depending on who's running for a championship, who's not, that probably plays a role in car decision. But man, those Nissans are tough to get around here, Soup.
Qualifying is over, so let's go ahead and bring up our starting grid right now. And we got plenty of time, a long pace lap. Let's take them two at a time. I'll take the top rows. Carl Janssen going to be on the pole position, flanked by the defending champion, Fabian Gerber.
Yeah, Justin Albrecht out there once again this season. Of course, came home second in the point standings last year. Alongside him will be Timo Toika.
Nicholas Makanos finished second last season. In fifth, he's going to be flanked by series organizer Clayton McLeod in sixth.
All right, I always get his last name mixed up. I'm going to try my best here. Martin Krajcik in seventh position. Eighth in row 4 is going to go to Hugh Haycox.
Hey, look at this. Rob Olenek has moved up into the Nissans. He's going to be qualifying in ninth. Jordan Westfall is going to be outside of him.
Going into sixth position here in the Nissans, you'll find Gabriel Legini. Alongside him will be Aitor Sintes Galiando.
Nicholas Morelli is going to be in the Baker's dozen position. JFS Jorge Fernandez Suarez is going to be in the 14th spot.
In row 8, you'll find Johnny Bell. Alongside him will be Last Olsen. And I'll go ahead and take the last Nissan here, Soup. That's going to be Lawrence Coleman rounding out the GTP field.
All right, so let's look at the Audis. It's Yanni Hagner going to be in the 19th position overall, first in class. He's going to be inside Rolla.
All right, then we got Philip Lake there in the starting third as far as the Audis. And then alongside him today is going to be James King.
Andre Albertinelli in the 23rd position in overall. That would be fifth in class, and Reed Miller sixth.
Yeah, Daniel Sadro's going to come in next year. And Sadro, he started toward the middle to end of the pack a few times last season on the races that I was able to catch, and he always finds a way to kind of be playing around in the front half of the field later on, so keep an eye on him. Next up there will be Marek Studenica. Ninth
in class is Gregoriano Buscemi and Franco Scurry. There's a familiar name we know in depth.
Tomas Valchik, we talked about him during the pre-race show. Alongside him will be Carlos Fonseca.
Roberto De Filippis in the 31st position overall, with James King outside of him.
And going into 32nd, find Darren Kuhn. And then you got Lucas Fort.
Christian Scaracia is going to be next, with Remigio De Pasquale outside of him.
Julia Forcolin, and then you'll have Lucio Distillery. And one thing to mention, you're seeing a lot of Italian names out there. So they're going to have their own GTO Championship this year, so that's going to be exciting to watch.
Keep the flavor down there, certainly. Simo Raba is going to be next, with Antonio Avascaziano.
And then we're going to have Jared Dixon And then I think this is going to round out the field here. Oh, we got a few. John Keefe was back there. I'll just go ahead and call him out here since we're rolling on the pace lap. Gianni Raspaldo, Jess Coleman, Michael Haynes, and Pablo Rangel will round out the field.
Gonna have to dust off my Italian there. So there's a lot of Italian names down there at the bottom. We'll get better at this as the season goes along. If you want to play the consumption game, every time one of the commentators butchers a name, go ahead, take a drink. Of course, we recommend a non-alcoholic beverage. GSRC cares.
I'm just going to say, I'm here today. You go alcoholic, it's going to be hazardous to your health. Just saying.
Yes, indeed. The entire pace lap here at Sebring will get this underway. We've been covering this series for a long time. It's good to be back for one more round. We wish the drivers the best of luck this season. We hope you enjoy the show. Let's take a quick look at the weather. We have time to do that before we head down to sunset. Get this race started. Adam, what do you think? A little warm on the track, huh?
Yeah, 78 degrees. Track temp, though, 109. So it might be a little slick out there, especially those Nissans trying to find grip. Wind out of the north at 8 miles per hour.
Here is maybe your best passing opportunity on the track as they go down the long straight here, down into that final sunset corner, which I still am trying to figure out the fast racing line through there. So many options for me. I know that it's not fast when you end up in the wall. That's one thing I can say.
Yeah, or you spin out toward the inside, toward pit entry. That doesn't work either. Been there, done that.
It's been said the sunset has more bumps than Tony Montana's coffee table. This is some old track right here, and boy, it gets bouncy, and you'll see a lot of different racing line coming in. All right, we do that final corner. The pace car will pull in, turning control over to our pole sitter, Carl Janssen. Janssen waits. He still waits. Now he goes. We're going to have a three-wide situation here. Scooting up through the middle, putting the toothpaste back in the jar. That's Justin Albright. He might have led him across the line. I hope he doesn't get a penalty. It looks like Janssen's going to lead him through one. Albright goes wide. What's going on with the GTOs?
Yeah, Johnny Hagner, Phil Rolla, Philip Blake. They've taken the green flag. They're heading down to the first corner, going through the first corner. In fact, much more organized than what you saw with the Nissans. There's their nose to tail.
Big spin up front. Timo Toikala is on his lid. We'll come back and look at that one. He gets it cleared before the GTOs get there. Carl Janssen, comfortable in front with Albright behind him. Mercanos, Gerber, and Krajcik running at your top five.
Going back to the Audis here, Johnny Hagner is taking away an early lead. Bill Rolla is in second. Philip Blake now in third. They are still running nose to tail. Everything seems orderly, but is it not again in the Nissans?
Yeah, no, that is the damaged car of Lawrence Coleman that they were going around. That's the damaged Nissan. He was involved in that lap one incident. That car seems to be off pace. And right now in the GTOs, he is in the thick of it, and he doesn't seem to be going that fast. Lawrence Coleman doing a good job of just trying to keep that damaged Nissan out of the way. He races in what would be, I guess, like fourth in line in the GTOs. They get that sorted out. Our leader is Hagner, Ruola, Lake, Hall, and then we go all the way back to Albert Tonelli.
It just seems like those guys in the Audis right now are just kind of content to just let's see how things play out. They might make a move here as they start heading down into the back half of the track. Eventually we'll head towards sunset in that long straightaway before that. So we'll see if anybody tries to make a move there. But of course you got the teammates right now, Joni Hager and Bill Rolla. They may not be as pushing to try to make a move here early. But up front in the Nissans, things starting to spread out just a touch more soon.
Janssen completes the first lap, and he is the leader, and he's got himself about a second lead over Albright. Albright being challenged by Mercanos. Albright, and they're settling down a little bit. Let's take a look at the replay that involved Timo Toikala on the very first lap. This one was ugly. It happened right in front of the entire field. Luckily, it cleared out in time. I think it was Toikala got tipped a little bit. That is Rob Olenek, the car behind, right behind Toikala, got him turned around. Olenek keeps going. And then you can see the other drivers that were involved in it. and that put Coleman back into the back of the field with the GTOs. We're going to ride on board with maybe the guy with his hand in the cookie jar. That was Olenek. Come back live. Olenek races in 6th in class. Well back as Janssen begins to polarize. Justin Albrecht in 2nd with Bucanos in 3rd. I think things are settling down up front. So let's go back and see what's going on in the Audis. Much closer for the lead here as Yanni Hagner only has about a 3-car length lead over Villarrola. Rolla pounding him, chasing him down. Looking back in the popcorn position, about a second back is Phillip in and around the lake. Another veteran of this class, Jamie Hall, in 4th. And again, Lawrence Coleman, you can see as we ride off the back here, looking back, you can see that Nissan still in the mix, not causing any trouble. Doing a good job of racing right about at the same speed as the Audis in front of them. No pit stops today, so there's nothing Coleman can do if that's all the car has. Let's go back and look at Jamie Hall right now. This is side by side. This is interesting in classes. Look at the braking advantage for Lawrence Coleman there in the Nissan, even though it's a little bit damaged. Now he starts to work his way through. I think all the Audi drivers would appreciate Lawrence getting out of their way, but the car just is off pace. He's having a fun little race. Not for position, not for points. One car making a pit stop right now. That is, oh, on screen, look at this. It was going to be 3 wide. That is Franco Scurry got into it. Sadro involved in it as well. And was it Coleman in that mix as well? Did I see a Nissan? We'll go back and look. No, it was not. Look at that. So it all started with Buscemi got into the tail of Scurry, kind of gave him the pit maneuver. Sadro was the innocent bystander on the inside, had nowhere to go when Scurry's car bounced off the inside wall, or actually outside wall. Inside wall as you look at coming into turn number 1. Boom. Franco gets out of it. Sadro, nowhere to go. Coming back live. Those guys were racing in about I'd say about 6th or 7th position at the time. Things settle down. Let's go ahead and look at 5th position in the prototypes. This is Martin Krychek being hounded by Rob Olenek. Olenek already has 1 car taken out in front of him. Let's see if Krychek has the same problems. They go through Sunset. Everything looks good there. Rob Olenek is a friend of GSRC. We love you, Rob. Rob going really wide out of Sunset, keeps the left side off the wall. Coming across, completing lap number 3. Remember, Olenek new to this car. The champion in the GTOs has moved up into the faster car. Be a good challenge for him. Series organizer, Clayton McLeod. That's the blue car in the back, watching on. Waiting for a mistake from the 2 cars in front. Let's drop back 1 position, get a little love to Jordan Westfall. A beautifully painted fluorescent blue machine. Woo! That one's easy to find. He's about 2 seconds back of McLeod, racing in 8th. How about one more spot back? A nice little battle going on back here. From Galindo, and losing a lot of momentum is Lignini. Lignini was right behind him. He got on the brakes. And that's a battle for 9th position. Let's round out. Well, then into 10th is Lignini. So there's all your top 10 drivers in the Nissans. Let's go up front of the Nissans real quick. No, I'm sorry. Let's go to the GTOs. This is what I want to cover. 2nd position in the GTOs. Now, running away is Hagner. About 1.3 seconds back. You can see the tower on your left. This is Ruola. But, man, he is being pestered by Phil Lake. And Hall is in the mix as well. They continue to race really clean. Ruola gets a little bit loose, and this is going to be an opportunity for Lake if he wants it. I think he's going to be patient. Phil's a veteran of the series. He knows that he's got 32 more minutes to get this done. Boy, but he is pounding Thiele. Other than the incident early on, pretty clean racing as far as I can tell. 39 drivers still on the lead lap. We saw the 3 drivers, Scurry, Buscemi, and Sandro, get involved to it. Timo Toikla was on his lid. The other drivers that are out, Distorelli and Jared Dixon.
Yeah, so far, I mean, for a race at Sebring, at this type of facility and the way things have been going here, I mean, it's been a low attrition so far. You're going to see most of your attrition in the first 2 laps of this race, and so far, not a lot.
We look at this battle with Lake stuck in the middle trying to find his way. Oh, let's go up to Krychek. He just got tapped. Oh my God. It was, well, he got involved with Rob Olenek. All right, now, I don't know if Rob's as guilty on this one as he was on the first one. Did he? He turns in. Did the car get loose in front of him?
Yeah, it was one of those ones that didn't have those little dive planes on the front of the Nissan. That might have been okay, but that ended up being the difference between Krychek going around and or not going around in this case. Well, he did.
Well, Olenek gets another one. Clayton McLeod, you're next on the hit list. You were able to get around the little incident going on, so we'll keep an eye on Olenek. We love you, Rob. Things settling down in the Nissans a little bit. So, Director, let's go ahead and take an opportunity. Let's go back to second again in the GTOs. Let's look at Ruola. Here comes Lake. Man, he is right on him.
He's had a few opportunities. It just doesn't seem like he's wanting to push the issue, and I'm okay with that. But here's somewhere where there is being the issue pushed. It's a little bit further back, but Remigio De Pisca and Christian Scarzia and Lucas Fort, they were just 3 wide a minute ago with Jess Coleman, Darren Kuhn right there as well. There's a pack of Audis here going hard.
Good racing all through the field.
Ooh, almost a little bit of contact there between Lucas Fort and Jess Coleman. Jess Coleman making the move.
Let's go up to second real quick. This is Ruola and Lake. He gets a good run out of Sunset. He's got a half a car length lead now. Is Ruola on Lake. Lake's going to be stuck on the outside. Let's see if he can force the issue, keep the momentum, see if he can pin Billy down to the inside. Maybe a little dipsy-doo, little hokey-doke, little up and under. Not going to happen. He fends him off. Ruola hangs on to second. You got to figure that Lake is faster. If he could just get around the finished driver, maybe he would have a chance to get up to Hagner. A pair of Finns racing 1-2. A pair of teammates racing 1-2. Love this camera as we look on board from the helicopter cam as they work through the corner. Jamie Hall back there as well, able to keep pace.
And there's their soup, not to break away too much, but there's your answer about lap traffic, and we were both wrong. Carl Jansen already in the thick of it.
Wow.
I mean, him and Justin Albrecht have had to go ahead and get around those pack of Audis that were racing hard just a moment ago, and they're still racing hard, and now have to deal with Nissan traffic as well.
Well, let's take this opportunity to go back and look at Fabian Gerber. He is third in line here. What makes this interesting is he's coming up on a 3-car battle, the one that Adam was talking about before with Ford and Kuhn. Kuhn just got around. Ford gets a slowdown penalty. Distorelli. Now there it is. I knew Gerber was going to be involved. Gerber almost gets into the back of Distorelli. Now here comes the opportunity for Mercados. Mercados has been chasing Gerber all day long in that Nissan. Gerber now stuck behind the lap track. He gets around Kuhn. Mercados with a run, about 2 car lengths back. They're not done yet, though. They have 3 more cars to get around. Pasquale, Coleman, and Scarzia. Let's try that one. Scarzia.
With the speed difference between these guys, they should be able to pick their way through here on the long straight. In fact, they might even get past them here before going through the right-hander. Going to get a little tight there from Mucanis.
There you go.
Make it through clean with him and Pasqua. But now he's in his draft, though, so we'll see what kind of run he can get here through Sunset.
Meanwhile, Janssen continues to pick them off one by one. He's got a 2-second lead. You can see it on the tower there over Justin Albrecht.
Oh, gets slowed way down there by Jared Dixon.
Well, it did not take the Nissans long to get there. They got there really fast. Oh! Suarez is around. Suarez is well back. One of the Nissans that is a little bit back. I was watching him work his way through traffic. He was behind Keith, car number 17. This looks like, if I can tell my corner, it looks like it was going into Sunset. He just got in behind for Colin there, had to get on the binders, and the car just came around on him. John Keith picks up a position. We were looking at talking about Dixon before, number 41. He is off. Janssen, Albrecht, Gerber, McConos, and McLeod now. You can see it on the tower over there. Let's go ahead and check back in on that battle for second between Villaruola and Philip Lake. He's the Finnish driver able to put a little bit of distance.
Yeah, Philip Lake's almost fallen back into the clutches here at Jamie Hall. In fact, they were bumper to bumper just a moment ago. When that Nissan traffic was coming through. But I'll tell you what, right there, Phil Rolla didn't get the best run through Sunset. And I think Philip Lake actually was able to catch just a touch, maybe knock a few tenths off of that. But if Jamie Hall can latch onto the back here of Philip Lake, we're going to have a 3-car battle for second.
They've got themselves quite a distance, those 3 cars, before they get to anybody else. Andre Albertinelli way back, about 6 seconds back, racing in 5th. Let's check in on Carl Janssen. He's coming up on some of our top drivers here. Carl Janssen going around Reed Miller. It's a chance for us to focus on the leader of the Nissans and also give a little screen time to some of the GTO drivers racing a little farther back. Next one, we talked about the driver in 5th. Here he comes up on Albertinelli. Again, Janssen, Adam, can take his time with a 2-second lead over his competition. He can be a little more patient than the guys who are fighting a little farther back.
Yeah, and right now, I mean, if you're able to be patient in a place like Sebring, you're going to be okay. Was just looking, he was running in I think 7th out of the Audis. Eric Studenecker had just a big off here a few minutes ago.
And we were looking at Gerber and McConnell. They've got some clear track in front of them, but it won't be long till they get to the stuff that we just saw Janssen get through. And what I'd like to do is check on Janssen again right now, because he's coming up on the back of that battle that we've been watching. Now, fortunately for Carl, Adam, these 3 cars that were once really close have a nice little gap in here. Janssen should be able to slice his way through these guys. Oh, as I say that, he gets right up on the back of Hall, working through Sunset.
Yeah, Sunset, I mean, for as wide as it is, that is a tough place to catch people because of the big speed differential between these 2 vehicles. And the fact that it's partly blind. Is he going to dive it in here going through 1 right against the concrete? He's going to get around him.
Look at Ruola, saw him coming, saw him dive underneath Lake, gave him plenty of room. Here comes Albrecht.
Brief glimpse of my favorite camera in all of iRacing in Dougie Beard's setup, the James Bond camera.
Love it too. I love it too. Justin makes his way through there. So the first 2 Nissans get through. Ruola continues to lead Lake with Hall watching. They got a little bit of while before Fabian Gerber gets up there. But it'll be interesting when Gerber and McConos get there, because that's a 2-car battle. Gerber cannot afford to be as patient as maybe some of the Nissans that went through before. No pit stops today. We've just about reached halfway.
Yeah, race is going by very quickly here for these guys. You know, and one's to be thankful about that, I think, right now is, you know, Carl Jansen. I mean, that gap, it was only about 1.8 seconds there last time by. I hadn't changed that much, even going through the lap traffic. But, you know, when they're in clear, Carl Jansen's having to push it to try to stay away from Justin Albrecht. Justin's got some speed.
The soap opera fan in me needs to go to 5th position in the Nissans. Clayton McLeod. The only reason I talk about it, Rob Olenek beginning the game on him. Olenek already has 2 little black stickers pasted on his car. I think we're going to be fine here. Now, that car in front of him, that's the car we saw Lawrence Coleman who had the issue. He's a lap down. He's well off the pace. Lawrence does a good job of taking the car really wide through Sunset. You got to be careful about doing that sometimes there. You fool yourself and take it a little too wide. Let's go to the Audis. This is what we've been watching.
Right there, Philip Lake almost had it that time by, but right back to the back bumper of Bill Rolla, and as expected, Jamie Hall isn't that far behind. Loses a little bit there through that left-right-hander there, but all it's going to take is for those two to get side by side here through a corner, and Jamie Hall's going to be right there too. In fact, there he is, almost to the back bumper of Philip Lake.
We talked about Gerber and McConnell's getting through. They did get through. And Lake continues to battle. Adam, I almost got to wonder who's using up their stuff more. If it's Lake who's doing all the pressuring, or Villarreal who's just maybe hitting the spots and just making Lake do all the work.
I'm going to go with the third car in line. I'm going to go with Jamie Hall. I'm going to give you the wild card. Jamie Hall's having to push and keep up with these guys right now, and really wants them to get racing to be able to make himself known in this fight too. But out of those two, I think that those between Rolla and Philip Lake, they've both been in this position numerous times. They know how to take care of their equipment even during a fight.
And now we're looking at one more time, director. Here we have an incident. The Lindo had an incident. Just had a little off. He did a good job of catching it. This is a nice job of John Keefe, who had a look at it. He just kept his cool and picks up the position going around. Let's go back to the Audis.
Yeah, there's that side-by-side that Jamie Hall wants to see, and they're going to stay side-by-side. This is some of the tightest corners on the racetrack right here, and they're going to do this right next together. Philip Lake's going to give it up, though, and slip in behind Villarreal. And now they've got Clayton McLeod behind them.
Hall just gave McLeod a little bit of a bump, said, let's go. I know you're in a faster car, but I got guys to race up there. Remember, McLeod has Olenek behind him. Olenek just gets around Hall. So you have the battle between McLeod and Olenek in this battle mixed up here with Rollo and Lake. Lake has been pestering him all race long, still can't find his way around. Now, interesting enough, Hall has got around Olenek as Olenek makes a mistake. But here comes Olenek with the Nissan back through again. There goes McLeod. McLeod goes wide in the
grass. Almost clips Jamie Hall coming back on the track.
Don't give up yet, McLeod, because Olenek still has to get around these two, and they're battling it. This is some good racing.
Soup's thinking he's going for the hat trick.
He gets one. He should get this one. And now, with the traffic as a cushion between him and McLeod, Rob Olenek can pull away.
Jamie Hall ended up going right in front of Clayton McLeod. Clayton McLeod almost lost it, having to avoid him. But they get away clean, but it was close.
Now, did we miss something? Martin Kritchik is in the mix here.
He was just how this group's held up, but almost contact there.
What excitement. Lake finally gets the pass made.
Oh, Rawls coming back, though. He's not going to give this up without a fight here.
got to run down into corner number 1. It's the left-hander turns away from the center of the track.
Oh, into concrete on the inside.
Yep.
Ooh, and they both hit it, but Ruala got the worst end of that deal.
Might be a little target fixation there as Lake hit the inside wall, and Ruala followed him right through. That fluorescent blue car is the one we pointed out before. That's Jordan Westphal, 8th in his class. Now let's look at Ruala. He's under attack from Hall. Ruala takes the defensive line into the hairpin. Look at the drive from Hall as he takes his right side tires across the curbs. That's not going to work. He loses a ton of time.
Yeah, got into a little bit of dirt, and as soon as he went back on the grass, all he had was wheel spin. That was the difference right there in trying to make a run on Ruala.
If you've never seen a Kamel event before, it is jam-packed full of excitement. 2 classes that would merit their own broadcast jammed into one. Battle a little farther back with Fonseca. That continues. The great camera shot there. See how fast those Audis go.
Oh, Ruala's in the tires. He's upside down.
Made contact with one of the Nissans. Legnini got him. Or they got together. That's Ruala. Here comes Legnini. Goes to the inside.
And he's back rolling. You'll see it here. Hits tires. Does it roll through the air. Lands on all fours. And he is, while still driving in the grass, he is still driving.
Where does... See where Ruala cycles out when it's all said and done. Back into P6.
He's missing most of his front end body work.
Yeah,
I think he's just trying to get back to the pits.
No fast repairs here. He is close to pit lane. Let's stay on this a minute as he's going to have to do a little bit of he needs a crossing guard. All right. The old lady puts up the sign, waves the child through, safely into pit lane.
Yeah, and you can hear his engine note. It does not sound good. So even without the body work, I think his day is going to be totally done here.
No offense to all the young and beautiful crossing guards out there. Carl Jansen, 2 seconds up on Justin Albrecht in the Nissans. That gap doesn't get any bigger, doesn't get any smaller.
That's okay. I mean, that's Justin Albrecht. That still remains he's within shouting distance if he gets slowed up or anything else. Yep. So still very much in play as far as those Nissans are concerned.
Never out of it here with lap traffic involved, especially at a track like this at Sebring with lots of right-left combinations. That's always hard for multi-class racing when drivers have to come across the track. So with Ruala out of the mix, Lake is comfortable in second, Hall in third. Let's drop back a little bit and talk about Andres Albertinelli. He's our fourth place driver. He's got nobody to worry about. Well, maybe I spoke too soon. Reed Miller, the Canadian, would like to get up there. There's the Italian driver. Number 22. Miller about, you can see it on your tower, about a second and a half back.
A battle right now for 6th and 7th in the Nissan shaping up here is Krajcik and McLeod. McLeod's gotten to the back of Krajcik a few times here. Falling off here in just the last few corners, but I think he's waiting for a time to pounce.
Krajcik made the top 5 overlay at the end of this last season. Would like to do that again, or even better if you could. to take a look at this replays in the Audi. This is a pass for 6th position. Our director has found this. Who are we looking at? Is that King we're looking at right now? King in front. Here comes Fonseca making the move. He'll be on the outside going into corner number 1. We look back, and you'll see King in his rearview mirror there, and there he is. But King not giving up the ghost here as he races right behind. This is going to be fun. Let's take a look at Carl Jansen. This is the leaders in the prototype in the Nissans coming through. Apologies. Trying to put a lap on Johnny Bell. Pennsylvania driver lets the Swiss driver get through. The Scandinavian driver of Janssen get through. Works his way around for Colin.
Here's a pass for position, maybe getting ready to happen. Gabriel Lagini and Keefe here. Yeah, and Lagini's able to get that 9th position away from John Keefe.
The director has it. Adam, you saw it live. That's what we're looking at here.
Just got a good run. He'd been working on it for a little bit here. Able to use the draft as they head toward the hairpin and just able to make that clean move to the inside.
3/4 of the way through the race. Just a tick over 10 minutes of racing to go. Looking through the Nissans, I don't see a real battle in the top 5. Things have settled down a little bit. Let's look at Krajicek as he tries for Krajicek as he tries to stay ahead of McLeod. Martin racing out of the Czech Republic. Another Canadian driver is Clayton McLeod. Krajicek now coming up behind Darren Kuhn, a veteran of many GSRC broadcasts. Kuhn does a good job of keeping that car going straight. One of the best battles on the track right now as they head into the hairpin. Open setups on these cars, so even though they are both Nissans, they may perform differently depending on whether the Czech driver or the Canadian driver, how they have them set up.
Yeah, this
here's the move. Oh.
Go ahead.
Well, I just saw McLeod take a stab at Krajicek and couldn't get it done. Go ahead, Adam.
I was just going to say, this is one track, too, where it's hard to find a balance because, I mean, you know, it's like if you set it up the wrong way, the bumps are going to affect you too much, but you also got to sacrifice a little bit of handling at the same time. So it gets to be tough. And then in the Nissan, you got to manage that wheel hop, too. And that has doomed many a driver in the Nissan, is that dreaded wheel hop when you get on the gas. And so glad to see we're not seeing a lot of attrition. But, of course, these are probably the most experienced guys in iRacing in these cars. So they've got a good handle on it. But you're going to see some wildly different setups.
Oh, I really thought he has the momentum. Now they are side by side through sunset. Keep the car off the wall. The car is very loose. McLeod had it for a second. He could hold his breath longer than he held the lead in front of Krajicek. Took it in hotter than a curling iron on Venus. Could not keep the car tied down. Does a great job of keeping it off the wall, and then you'll see Krajicek go, "Thank you very much. I'll take my spot back." McLeod continues to struggle as we just came back live. The car got a little squiggly on him again. He loses a ton of time to the Czech driver.
By the way, up front, not missing anything. Carl Jansen is really starting to pull it out on Justin Albrecht. So that gap fluctuating between 3.5 and 4 seconds now.
You know what? Our contract with the series organizers requires us to put the camera on the leaders of the class every so often. Remember this guy? Yanni Hagner. He's had a very quiet run. Of course, for most of the race, he had his teammate behind him playing defense, holding Phil Lake back. He's got a 4.4 second lead now on Philip in and around the lake after Ruola had his adventure in the Floridian countryside.
You got to see the world upside down there for a moment.
He did indeed.
Mhm. I mean, that's how most Floridians see that, right?
That's right. It always seems to happen backwards in Florida.
Send complaints to Amjad Yaman at GSRC.
The state known for the hanging Chad. Google it, boys and girls.
I'd rather not.
Just about 6 minutes to go. Things are settling down a little bit. It has been a relatively clean race and a really exciting race as well. There's our leader in the Nissans, Carl Janssen. Now, it remains to be seen if Janssen will make a full assault at this championship. We hope he does. Justin Albrecht would like to beat him fair and square. There are drop rounds. Now, this is the battle we looked at before that Adam was watching. This is the closest battle. It'll be for 9th in the Nissans. Legnini and Keefe.
Yeah, just people are. It's just gotten spread out now. That's fine.
Everybody here just trying to put in those final 5 minutes.
Yeah, looking here, McLeod and Krejcik again. This might be trying to heat up. They might catch a few Audis going through Sunset here in just a moment. They're going to catch one here on the straightaway. Don't know if they'll get to the other one in time. That could mess up this battle, or mix up this battle, rather.
Now that's James King. Now look what McLeod does. He stays right behind King because those Audis punch a huge hole, and what that did would give McLeod a great run in the draft. Now he gets to the inside of Sunset. We saw this once before. Watch out for the slower car of Fonseca. He does it. He gets it done, but watch with this is deja vu all over again, but this time he's going to hold it as McLeod gets the position on Krejcik. No,
I was watching a dirt race there for a moment with the slide job. Yeah. Yeah, I said slide job on a Nissan GTO broadcast.
It was indeed. They work around Michael Haynes. McLeod now picks up that position, sitting in 4th. That was fun to watch.
Using that Audi is a little bit of a pick, sliding up in front. I don't know how those rear tires held on grip, but they did.
I expect McLeod now to pull away if he just keep the car pointed in the right direction. Clayton trying to race smooth as blended whiskey right now, just trying to avoid mistakes, and as he does, he starts to open it up on Krejcik. So with that done, can we check back in on the battle we were looking at before? I guess that's all settled down. Most everything is settled down now. Legnini still, yeah, he's opened up about, oh yeah, John Keefe unable to hang in there. That's Legnini. He's got to be careful as he works around James King. Oh, he's off in the grass. He's going to lose a lot of momentum. Luckily, he has a 2-second gap when we came to him. Now it's down to a second, under a second now, as that was not very well executed. James King trying to make the car invisible. It has mass. You can't put it. It has to be somewhere on the track. John Keefe works his way around him. Legnini now has to deal with Fonseca. What I get is it reminds me of when I was a boy playing ball in the street. You're out there playing, and if you're in the Audis and you're having fun, and a car comes, everyone yells car, and you have to stop racing or stop playing, wait for the cars to go by, then you pick it back up again. Legnini, 9th in class ahead of Keefe. Go ahead, Adam.
Yeah, I was just saying, everybody's behaving at this point. Olnek had a moment just a second ago, but I think he was able to get away from it. I think Audi ran off track right around him. Jansen, I mean, he's doing his best to try to run away with it. Just lap traffic's behaving. I think everybody, like you said a minute ago, everybody's just kind of coasting to the finish at this point.
And let's look here. Let's look at Jansen here, because he's got an interesting situation here. He's got a couple different agendas going on. He gets around Wrangel. Now that's a GTO. Now he comes up with a car he's trying to lap. This is Laust Olsen. Judging from the colors of that car, I'm going to assume that it says Scandinavia. I'm going to say that he's Swedish. And as he comes around, he's going to get credit with seeing the white flag. Carl Jansen, 3.4 second lead. Look at this. Go back and look at this again. That is Keith. Yeah, Keith got the pass made on Legnini. That was all but done. Legnini was pulling away from this one. We'll see if we can find what happened. Yeah, it's too close to the end. I can see right now, Keith just ran him down. Not sure if that one is done, though. Janssen on the back half of the track right now. Let's quickly look at, as Janssen's not on the back straight, let's quickly go into second position. Justin Albrecht. We've got some cars to deal with. They're all going off into the grass. Well, that's one way to get out of the way. That was Olsen. And Albrecht gets around Suarez. I thought that Jorge might give a little bit of a problem. So now the second place driver makes his way to the back straight, while Carl Jansen has nothing but the sunset corner between him and an opening round win here in the Camel Series. The 2019 fall season opener out of Sunset. Carl Jansen picks up the win in the Nissan class, doing a little bit of weaving back and forth.
Joni Hagner not too far behind him, heading down the long back straightaway, heading towards Sunset himself. Got a Nissan going around him. That would be Nicholas McConis getting ready to come home to finish fourth. Joni Hagner, though, had himself a great day. A little excitement there with about 2 to go with some lap traffic, but he's going to avoid it, go home, take the win, as he is sliding for show there going through Sunset. Good opening season win for Joni Hagner.
Nicely done. Jansen, Albrecht, and Gerber go 1, 2, 3 in the top class. Look at this battle here going off. This is the one we've been watching. Can John Keefe stay ahead of Gabriel Legnini? One more corner to go. Legnini with a little bit of a run down. He's going to take the tight line into Sunset. He gets the pass. Now watch the momentum from Keefe. The start-finish line is pretty close. Keefe wiggles a little bit. He's going to run out of tarmac. Give the position, which would be sixth in class, to Legnini. Keefe will have to settle for 7th. We'll take a replay through Sunset. That has been the action corner. Watch Keefe's car wiggle just a little bit as he tries to get the power down, and you can see how quick that thick checkered line comes, and Legnini gets the position. The racing is over here in Sebring, but our broadcast is far from done. We'll take a short break, come back to run down the entire finishing order, talk to some of the drivers before we put a lock on the gate. Back in a few. Don't go far. You're watching GSRC. From Sebring, this is the Global Sim Racing Channel's opening round coverage of the 2019 Fall Season Kamel GT Vice Classic Racing Championship. The first round is in. It was an exciting event and a relatively non-attrition filled event as we had good racing with enough excitement to make it an interesting race. Let's give you the finishing order. Carl Janssen goes wire to wire with Justin Albrecht right behind him. Fabian Gerber and Nicholas McConnell were in a battle for most of the race. They go third and fourth. Rob Olenek had an eventful run. He's going to get a top 5 finish. Clayton McLeod was able to get around Martin Krejcik for 6th position. Martin will have to settle for 7th. Jordan Westphal in his fluorescent blue machine takes 8th. The top 10 is rounded out by Gabriel Legnini, who was able to get John Keefe in Sunset on the final lap. The back half of your top 20 goes to Altor Galindo, George Suarez, Laust Olsen, Hughes Haycock, Nicholas Morelli. Johnny Bell has a nice run in 16th with Lawrence Coleman 17th in the Nissans. All right, let's go ahead now and talk about the GTOs. This is where Joni Hagner was wire to wire, as was Carl Janssen. He had an uneventful race, just letting the Nissans get around him. He gets the win. Phil Lake, who was behind Rolla for most of the first half, was able to get around Rolla when he made a mistake, and he gets into 2nd position. Jamie Hall followed Lake the entire race, gets the final podium spot. Andres Albertelli gets the blackjack position. The double duck spot goes to Reed Miller with Carlos Fonseca after him. James Keem and Roberto Felipas are the next 2 drivers. Thomas Valchek and Jess Coleman are next. Rigoleno Pasquale with Darren Kuhn. We saw Kuhn do a good job of keeping the car going straight and also getting out of the way some of the faster cars. Pablo Rangel and Christian Scorsese in the next spot. Lucas Fort had an eventful event. He finishes well down the order with Antonio Ascondino behind him. Hey, play that consumption games, boys and girls, because this is going to get harder as we get to all the Italians. Marcus Haynes, Simo Raba after that, Lucius Snelli, Giannos Respirato, Joseph Cologne, Villa Rulo. Oh, we saw Rulo have his incident. He ended up on his hood, had to finish 10 laps down. Joris Dixon behind that, Jared Dixon behind that one. Marcus Studanica, Gregory Buscemi in the 42nd position with Daniel Sadro had a bad run as he ended up his race as he got into an incident with Franco Scurry. And then the final driver out there, Timo Tokla, who had a first lap incident. He's going to finish last in the Nissan class. Okay, I managed to get through all of that. I hope you're all still sober. Let's go ahead and talk to one of the drivers. Our director will tell us who we got. We're going to talk first to Carl Janssen, our race winner. Carl, do you have a copy?
Yeah, hello.
Hey, Carl, it's been a long time since we've seen you on GSRC. Where you been?
I've had a follow-up with the World Championship Series in GTEs. So not been a lot of time over.
Well, it was great to see you racing again. You didn't have any pressure from your class, but you had to deal with some lap traffic. But with a 2-second lead, you could kind of take your time and kind of pick your way through. Didn't have to be too desperate.
Yeah, I was running a little bit higher downforce than the other guys. That's why Justin managed to come up so far on me into turn 1. So I had a lot of traction in the car. Managed to go away a little bit, and then hitting the traffic, there was a few sketchy moments, and I always hit the traffic in like the wrong spot, so I was kind of stuck all the time. But yeah, the pace was definitely there.
So when you're talking about turn 1, you're talking about lap 1 on the downforce played had an effect on just the car getting going at the start of the race.
No, I missed the. I didn't know the green was coming that early, so it was kind of surprised me, and Justin got a little jump. But then his car was much quicker down the straight as well, so I could see him just almost fly past me into turn 1.
You were 3 wide for a while, but it all worked out for you. It's great to see you back here. Congratulations on the win. And now we talked about it during the race. We weren't sure if you're going to be able to make a full assault, if you're going to be able to race all the races. Is this kind of a one-off deal, or can we see you more often in the Kamel Series?
I don't know. We'll have to see. I'd like to continue racing, but we'll see what happens with all other commitments as well.
I understand they have drop races. Nice to see you here anyway. Congratulations on the win. Always great to have you on GSRC and watch you do what you do. Thanks a lot.
Yeah, thank you, guys.
Carl Jansen picks up the win. Now we'll go down and we'll talk to Yoni Hagner, the winner in the GTO class. Yoni, we tried to put the camera on as much as you could, but honestly, it just kind of drove away from it. Maybe Phil Lake might have had something for you, but your partner wouldn't let him by.
Yeah, with bad luck with the wheel. Yeah, I just was trying safely and saving my tires because the track was quite hot.
Any close calls with the Nissans let him by?
Not with the Nissans, but the last lap was quite fun because there was a lap. I was lapping 2 Audis who was badly, so yeah.
You know, I've asked this question before from fast drivers. It's something I like to know as a traditional back marker. When you are so far in front and you know that the race is yours and the only thing keeping you from the win is a mistake, how close to 100% do you race? Do you? I've talked to so many drivers that are good. They say if I start to slow down, I lose my rhythm. Is that the same case for you?
I don't like start to slow down, but I try to focus on my lines and be like more smooth and etc.
Got it. Well, congratulations on the win. I'll ask the same question I did to you as I did to Carl Jansen. I expect this one you're going to be able to make a full assault on the series. Try for the championship. Will you be able to race enough races to make a run at?
I hope so.
Good. Always great to watch a race can get off to the season with a win. Good job. We'll see you down the road.
Yep. See ya.
Yoni Hansen, your wire-to-wire winner in the GTO class. Now we'll talk to the third place driver in the Nissans. That is Fabian Gerber.
Hello.
Hi, Fabian. You had an eventful race there. You weren't fast enough to get to the top guys, but boy, Nicholas Mercano stayed with you for most of that.
Yeah, at the beginning he could always come through the traffic. It was the traffic was really tough today. So many Audis, I couldn't believe it, and I lost just in one lap about 6 seconds to the front. So I could keep up actually in the 2-3 laps I actually had, I think, but they were already gone, and I couldn't have overtaken. I wasn't fast enough for that, but yeah, I'm happy to go third, but second would have been better if the start hadn't been like it.
Yeah, when you're in that close race with the other driver, you have a different attitude when you come up on the Audis, don't you? You're a little more aggressive than if you have a cushion.
Yes, but on the other hand, you shouldn't be too aggressive. It's always dangerous, especially with that many new people in the Audis today. I'm the one who usually takes it a bit easy on them because I don't want to lose the race in an accident. I rather finish the race and lose some time than better safe than sorry.
Correct me if I'm wrong on this one. I really like your opinion, but for me as a back marker, Sebring's one of the harder tracks to get out of the way because there's so many left-right situations. Is that what you feel like? Also, that Sebring's a challenging track as far as lap traffic goes?
Yes, very, very much so. Exactly because what you said, it's a lot of left and right. But usually, if the Audis just stay on the racing line, we can go around them. It's usually not a problem. But as soon as they try to move around and give you maybe some space and you misunderstand them, then it gets difficult.
We talk about it all the time. Worst thing you can do is in the slower classes, try to be polite. Just keep your line. Hey, it was fun to watch you work the traffic. Way to go. We'll look forward to you seeing you make an assault on this championship, okay?
Thank you very much. See you next week. Bye, guys.
Fabian Gerber, your third place finisher today. And now we're going to talk to Phil in and around the lake, who spent most of the first half of the race probably faster than the guy in front of him. Phil, my gosh, you are a testament to patience.
Yeah, that was a lot of fun in the first half of the race there. Vil was extremely hard to pass, and we had really didn't have enough of a pace advantage over him to make the move easily. So it was just a waiting game. Eventually got it done. A little bit of contact, but not too bad.
as a commentator, those type of battles are really frustrating to call because we're always checking in on it. You're always making stabs. You're always trying it. It went on for literally 20 minutes until you finally got them. I felt, you said you were being patient. I thought, though, that when the opportunity was there, you were ready to take it.
Yeah, I've raced with Vil a long time, and you don't get many opportunities. So every time I was close enough, I would at least poke my nose and just show my intentions. I wasn't there just to sit behind him and wait. So, finally got past him in the end.
As you're sitting back there in third, were there any thoughts of maybe I have the pace to stay with Yoni if I can just get around you? Maybe I have a shot to, because each lap goes, Yoni just starts to pull a little farther away.
Yeah, I've been driving this car about 3 years now, and Yoni's been in and out of the series, and he's always been ridiculously fast. And about 3 years ago, we raced at Sebring, and I'm pretty sure he lapped me. So to be able to see him at the end of the race was a win today. I did think I was catching him slightly towards the end, but I was kind of thinking in the back of my mind he's probably just not pushing too hard at this point.
Doing what he does, yeah. Hey, it was fun to watch him battle for the first half, and then it finally happened. Then you were clear from there, and you were able to stay away from Jamie Hall, who stayed behind you a lot. Congratulations on the second place. We'll look forward down the road.
Yeah, thank you. Thanks, guys.
Philip Lake, a veteran of this series, and he finishes in second. Okay, there are your 4 interviews. That's going to do it here for us on the Global Sim Racing channel, but don't leave because we got to thank the people that made this possible. Let's start by the series organizers, everybody in the iRacing Kamel community for organizing this series and contracting with GSRC to broadcast it. Thanks to the companies that provide the software and hardware on our broadcast listed here on your screen. Additional thanks goes to June Lalonde, who provides our wonderful music. See the screen to how to get a hold of more of her great work. I got to thank the team, and that would be Adam, Amjad, and Dougie. If you'd like more information about GSRC, including upcoming races, you can find it at globalsimracingchannel.com, or you can check us out on social media. How about this? Twitter, GSRC channel. Let's try that again. GSR channel. Facebook at Global Sim Racing Channel, and Instagram at GSRC_Graham. You would think after the million times I've done that, I would be able to get that Twitter address right. One more time, GSR channel. Next race will be at Imola. That's going to be next week. What would that be? September 21st, if I can add 7 to today. We're going to be 1 p.m. Eastern, same bat channel, same bat station. We're also having upcoming broadcasts on this from our series listed, of other series listed on your screen right now. So check those out and mark them down on your calendar. With that said, we're going to have fun going off and storming the castle. So until next time, race clean, race hard, and we'll see you on the track.